Hello! It is Monday and it is a new weekly reading vlog. Yes, it is Monday evening. We're now at 7:30 in the evening. I did plan on starting this vlog earlier and absolutely failed at it, obviously. I can't even think, I feel like I've been doing stuff today, but that's what I've been doing. I've been editing today. So I have been editing today. It's been a little bit of an editing day. I think I edited 2 or 3 videos, I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe just 2. Maybe. And I'm really happy with that. I think I've only got 2 or 3 left to edit now, until I'm caught up. And of course, now I'm filming this, I'm about to get behind again. So, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. But it's fine. This is how it works. You create, you edit, you create. It's like when you do washing, and immediately you know the washing's not done because you're now wearing clothes that are now dirty and need washed. So, yeah, you just constantly move in. It does mean, however, that I have my entire 2026 TBR video up on my channel now, which is amazing, and my January TBR. I think I've got my December wrap up, a vlog, and my stats and haul video, so I think it's 3 still to edit. I could be wrong, there could be one more, but I think that's it. Reading wise, I've been sitting reading for a little bit, not very long, but I'm now 114 pages into Atmosphere. I was going to call it Orbit, I don't know why. And it's not, like I say, it's not very long. It's like 337 pages, and I'm 114 pages in, so maybe about a third of the way looking at the pages. I am so thoroughly enjoying this right now. It is so much better than I could have anticipated. I did think it was going to go somewhere along the lines of Goldilocks by Laura Lamb, mostly just because of the female astronaut side of it, but the Goldilocks by Laura Lamb is a little bit, I would say a little bit darker, leans in a lot more to the misogyny, and it has a little bit of a darker twist to it outside that, but this is a Goldilocks is more of a futuristic dystopian misogyny style, where like women have stopped being allowed to do certain jobs, including being astronauts, and like they're slowly rolling back women's rights. So it's kind of like American, like what, 2 or 3 years? Let's see. And whereas this is like basically the 1980s, late 70s, early 80s, when women are starting to become astronauts. The main character was already a professor, or at least a teacher at university, and then goes on to train as an astronaut. There is still like issues with female astronauts. They're not treated the same as the male astronauts. There's not nearly as many of them, and even within the groups of female astronauts, they're kind of fighting within each other to get a spot, because they're a novelty, so they're not gonna send or they don't think they're gonna send multiple women. So like there's a little bit of animosity between the women in some cases. But this is just good old fashioned 1980s misogyny, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I definitely did not think. I don't know what I thought. I thought it was going to be more like Goldilocks, but I thought it was going to be a bit more intense and melodramatic, frankly. Whereas it's quite laid back. She says, I know, like the start of it absolutely stunned me, but I know what I mean. It's a lot more like regular people, not like people who are up here, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go and keep reading this. I think I might pick up Just Our Luck physically after this. I'll have it already planning for my next book, just because when I was editing, I was talking about it and I was like, oh, I really want to read that. I will probably put that as my next physical read. I've still not started any of my Kindle books, which is hilarious, but I'm doing so well at getting through my physical TBR. I've read 3 physical TBR books so far. This is technically not on my physical TBR because this is Bobby's copy, but I will be buying a paperback copy once they come out. So it's like doing it for the future of my TBR. Anyway, I'm going to go and get some more reading done, and I'll speak to you later, probably tomorrow. I have like 20 pages left of Atmosphere. Like quite literally, like 20 pages left. I'm on page 116 and there's like 300, no, that's a lie. I'm on page 316 and there's like 300 and 336 pages. 337 pages. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. This entire book stressed me out. I'm loving it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's going to be a 5-star. But I'm stressed. Taylor Jenkins Reid, you're stressing me out. I just had to come in and say that, because this is a reading vlog and I've not really been talking about my reading. I've not been doing that for the past 2 weeks, to be fair. I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job. But yeah, I'm stressed. That's all I'm going to say. I thought this was going to be like a feel-good, lesbian, historical sci-fi with like a big dollop of misogyny, and sure, yeah, but I'm stressed. So, yeah. Finished it. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure this is also how I felt at the end of Evelyn Hugo, although I don't remember the end of Evelyn Hugo. If I'm being honest. Well, I remember the end of Evelyn Hugo, but like, I don't remember. It's been years since I read it. Oh my god. Oh, Taylor Jenkins Reid, what have you done? This story reminded me this was so much like, this was so reminiscent of Andy Weir, who is like one of my favourite authors. The Martian and Project Hail Mary are two of my favourite books of all time. I love both of them, and this gave me very similar vibes. Yeah, 5 stars, obviously. This book was amazing. Oh, I was meant to go to bed like an hour ago. Hamish is checking on me to see if I'm alright, and also trying to get me to go to bed. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hello, it is Tuesday. Hello from my interesting place of my chair in my living room in my jammies. I've been reading Just Our Luck by Denise Williams because I needed something a little bit lighter after reading Atmosphere yesterday. And this is the romance that's on my TBR, so that's the rest of my TBR books. So, well, the ones that are not on the Kindle, obviously. So there's another one. Oh no, it's here. This one as well. Although technically this isn't on my TBR, this is just a rolling book. This is about Sybil, who is very unlucky, and it's funny because it's reminding me of no, not really, but it's kind of like is it called Just My Luck? The movie with Lindsay Lohan and McFly aren't in it, but they did the music for it. And so she's like not very lucky. And right at the start, as she's leaving for work, she finds a lucky penny. And things don't end up going her way. She gets fired from her job. She ends up being stood up by this guy for a date, and it's not great. And then there's this guy here who owns, or isn't own, his grandfather owns a donut shop that's not doing very well. His granddad had a stroke and he was very ill. So he's come back from medical school to take over it to help his granddad recover. And he also finds a lucky penny. Different lucky penny, just to say. And again, things aren't going great for him. The business isn't doing very well. They can't afford new equipment. There's not many people coming through the door. He's had to leave school. You've got loads of student debt and stuff like that building up. And his granddad's obviously not very well, having had a stroke. And she goes into the donut shop for donuts in the morning, but she doesn't speak to him because he's helping his granddad. So she takes the donuts and leaves, like they're already pre-packaged for her. And then she goes in that night after her stood-up date, and they meet and hit it off really well. She ends up leaving her lottery ticket behind. And it ends up being a winning lottery ticket, and it's worth 3.5 million, I think it is. And he decides, this is basically where I'm up to. She's left the lottery ticket. And from the synopsis, it ends up being a winning lottery ticket, and he tries to get it back to her because, like, that's her winning lottery ticket. He's not going to take $2.5 million from someone. It's like 3.5 million is the thing, but with taxes, you get 2.5, apparently. And so this is seen as, like, I don't know how, but apparently this is seen, like, publicly as a grand gesture. And so they decide to sort of, it's kind of like, take a hint, Danny Brown, where, like, the thing going viral kind of helps his business, and so they kind of decide to fake date to try and help each other out. As far as I'm aware, that's just what I'm getting from the synopsis. I'll obviously know better as I read it. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. They're really, like, he's adorable, honestly. He's so kind and so nice, and she's just a mess, which I can hard relate to sometimes. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The writing style is very easy to read. It's very comfortable. That's not a criticism. Like, you know, sometimes you read somebody's writing and you're just like, why? This is smooth. It's easy. It allows you to just keep reading with interest. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed because it's 11:30 and I am shattered. I need to take my bedtime medicines. There it is. I don't need the whole box. I keep the whole box there because I use it so often. I need to take my bedtime medicines and take my... I don't take my antibiotics at 10 o'clock. Okay, I need to take my 10 o'clock medicines. It's past 10 o'clock. I need to take my midnight medicines. It's not quite midnight, but it's fine. Oops. Okay, I've put my antibiotics for the morning into my morning slot, and my 10 o'clock ones into that one. I don't know what it is about the metal on the antibiotic thing, but it just feels and sounds horrendous, so I'll edit that out for you. What was I doing? Taking my meds. Talking to you about taking my meds. Yeah, I've got antibiotics to take that I forgot to take. Not remembering to take your antibiotics is honestly a bad thing to do. I remember thinking about my alarm went off and I was like, right, I'll take my meds when I go back through. And I got back through and I took different meds. I still needed to take the meds that I took, but it was not the antibiotics. Like, I needed to take the antibiotics as well as the other meds. So yeah, I'll just say it now. Take your meds, kids. If you've forgotten, because I know someone will have forgotten, go take your meds. And tell me that you've taken your meds. If you forgot to take your meds, or you're due to take your meds, and me telling you this reminded you to take your meds, tell me. Be like, Andy, I took my meds. Okay, bedtime. I am absolutely shattered. I've been chasing sleep this entire week. Oh. I was getting the best, deepest sleep last night. And Hamish decided that was his moment to lick his stomach where he's got an itchy bit that he could reach. And he's not meant to lick it because it makes it worse. And he didn't have his cone on because he hadn't been licking. So I thought it was fine, but he woke me up an hour or 2 hours after I went to sleep. And I was in that deep a sleep that I had to physically force myself to wake up. I told him off, he didn't listen to me. I told him off again, he didn't listen to me. I turned around and slapped the bed because he was on the floor on the other side of the bed where his bed is. I slapped the covers, and normally that's enough to get him to stop. Like, the noise of it going he doesn't he realises that's us slapping it to tell him to stop. And didn't stop. So I had to physically get up, lean over the side of the bed, drag myself, lean over the side of the bed and grab his face. Actually had to reach down, grab his face, and be like, no. Because he literally, I was hanging over him, telling him off, and he wouldn't listen to me. So I had to actually grab his little snoot, his big snoot, and be like, no. And then I had to get up out of bed, untangle myself from covers and everything, and my body pillow, which is part of the problem because I'm all tangled up in sheets and stuff. Get up, walk around the bed, go get his cone, which is normally on Kay's bedside table, or if Kay's not in bed, on the bed. Go over to the other side of the room because I'd put it on the other side of the room because it was on the bed. pick up his cone, shove his cone on him, which he was not happy about getting the cone on. But luckily it doesn't need to be like really tight to, you know, some dogs you need to get it tight to their neck. He can just slide on and off his head. But he can't do it himself because his legs aren't long enough to grab a hold of it. He's got little dinky little front T-Rex arms. It's just a Scottish belt. He can't get up to like pull it off, so you can put it on loose. Looser, so we can slide on and off his head. Like, again, grab a hold of his face because he's like fighting me. Grab a hold of his face, slide it on, and like, stop it. Go back to sleep. I'm just like lying there. I'm like, I need to be. I was in that kind of sleep where I rolled back over to get up to put his cone on him, and I felt myself going again. I was like, no. Like, that is how deep a sleep I was in. I was like, I was out. I was like, the sound of him licking, like, reached into my dream and was like, you need to wake up. Because I hate the sound of him licking. I hate the sound of it. Even when he's just like licking his paws or licking his bed or something, I hate the sound of it. So I always wake up when he does it. But yeah, I was in and then I couldn't sleep properly the rest of the night. I was having really weird dreams. At one point, I dreamt I was at Gem's, and she was showing me her unhaul pile, which for some reason confused me because it contained a VE Schwab. Which, if you know Gem, you know Gem likes VE Schwab. So I was like, what? Why? But yeah, I was staying with Gem, apparently, because I don't know why. I think it's because I watched Gem's most recent video before going to bed. Or, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember when she put out a video. But I think I watched a video before going to bed. And then... Or was it today she put out a video? I was definitely speaking to Gem at least. Yesterday. There was something to do with Gem yet. It must have been for her to appear in my dreams because... It's very random for people to like appear in my dreams. Normally it's like there's people, but it's not people I know. It's only people I know if I've been talking to them beforehand. If that makes sense. Anyway, yeah. So that was a strange dream. All last night was really, really weird dreams. Really, really weird dreams. And really vivid weird dreams. So yeah, tomorrow I've got the gym, so I wanted to go to bed earlier, but it's now 11:45 again. I did, however, fall asleep earlier for like an hour and a half. Hour and 16 minutes. I fell asleep for. He's just now itching his belly on the ground. And his chin on his mat. Right, I'm going to go to bed. I'm actually going to go to bed. And then hopefully get some reading done tomorrow. I'm too tired for this. I should go to bed. I'm just trying to think what I even did today. I went down to the tattoo shop. I'm going to get a tattoo, I think. Maybe here. But I need to... The tattoo artist that does the fine line tattoos that did the spoon tattoo, she was not in today. So I'm going to message her and like tell her about the design that I want. And then we can book in. Because they do walk-ins, but you're always chancing it with a walk-in if they've not got any appointments. So I'm just going to message her. Which I probably should have done in the first place, but I feel like I'm bothering people. But like the guy at reception was like, just message her. It's fine. It's like, so now I've got permission to message her. It feels less weird. Which is weird. Right, I'm gonna go. I don't know if you can hear him rubbing himself on his mat. He's got what's it called? A snuffle mat. So it looks like a hedgehog, and all the like spikes, what would be the spikes, are like little loops of fabric. So then you sprinkle these biscuits into his little like nugget biscuits into the like on top of it, and it means they have to like work to like sniff out and find the biscuits, and just help like it just like gives them a bit more mental stimulation than eating it out of a bowl. So he gets 4 meals a day. I don't know why I'm now telling you this, but here we are. He gets 4 meals a day. Or what would be his normal 2 meals a day, split up into 4, so bless you, sir. Right, I'm going to bed. Do I need to get more water? Watch me need more water. I'm going to bed. I'll see you later. Hello, I am just back from the gym. I'm about to go in the shower because it is shower time after the gym. I've had my dinner. I went to Asda, and I've just also Oh no, that's not a sticker. I got a book. This is Rebecca Yarris's one of her romance books. It's Things We Leave Unfinished. Someone read this and really, really liked it. It is a World War Two. That was a good angle. It's a World War Two. It's split fiction, so it's a present timeline and then a World War Two timeline. I don't know, like that's not a sticker. I thought it was a sticker. It was such a pretty edition. Oh well. Fine. Goes to cancer charity, whatever. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in the shower and then hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep tonight. I've got myself tea. I went to Asda, and I got myself obviously something to eat, because I always get something from there afterwards. I also got myself some sleep tea. So there's this one and there's this one. I think actually this one I've got in the cupboard already, but just like a trial one that I got, I think from somebody's wedding, like in the little bags you take home. But I'm going to try this one as well. It's got valerian root in it, which, just to note, you should not take any kind of valerian root product if you're on SSRIs, because they interact with SSRIs. Please ignore this. This is where the boiler used to be. There's the outflow. This is where the boiler used to be, before we got the heat pump installed. And obviously we don't need the boiler anymore because we have a heat pump. But yeah, I am going to go in the shower and I will speak to you later. Hello, I am obviously clean. Oh my god, look how pretty my hair is. I have made myself some tea. It is, you can't see because the inside of the cup's black. I think this is the cup that Tori got me. Wait a minute, I'll try and... I'm holding you with my right hand. So, I need to... There we go. It has colourful zebras on it. I made myself, it's a sleep tea, and it's a valerian root, blood orange, blossom, lavender. What else is in the tea? I don't know what else is in the tea. There's something else. There's like 3 things. And then I read it and discovered there was lavender in it, which lavender normally gives me migraines, but this must be, there's 2 different families of lavender. One gives me migraines, one does not. This is obviously the one that does not. Or it's not the smell from the petal that gives me the migraine. But yeah. But normally even just the smell of lavender gives me a migraine, and this has not given me a migraine yet, so we're doing well. So this tea is, I'm not gonna lie, it's disgusting. It's not nice. It tastes like a little bit like grass. It's not green tea. It's not green tea. Maybe it's an acquired taste. But it's not like horrible. It smells lovely. It doesn't taste that good. But I am so desperate for sleep, for like a decent night's sleep, that I'm going to drink it. And I'm even tempted to drink the other one, which is like apple and chamomile. So like 2 cups of sleepy tea should knock me out, hopefully. You'd think. Hello, it's Thursday evening. It's about 9:30. And I'm just sitting here drinking round 2 of my coma tea, as I'm calling it. So I've had the nasty one that I didn't quite like yesterday. I put a little bit of honey in it. Really liked it. And this is the apple one again. Put a little bit of honey in. It's actually quite nice. I don't like honey. I like honey in things like honey mustard dressing, like honey roast ham, that sort of thing. But I don't like honey on its own. So this is quite nice that I'm enjoying the honey in the tea. It makes it much, much easier to drink. But yeah, I'm suffering from being at the gym yesterday. I am so sore. Like every muscle hurts. There are bits that I didn't know could hurt. Like it hurts to breathe because like the muscles in there are all sore. Hopefully it goes away by tomorrow. Hopefully I get a good sleep tonight. I really want to go to bed before 11. But I need to finish my tea. I'm going to do a bit more reading. I'm now on to page 142 of Just Our Luck. And I'm really enjoying it. We are kind of obviously getting into the meat of the story. And the fake dating has started. And it's funny. I am really, really enjoying this. It's a really interesting... the characters are just really fun and really interesting. And yeah, like I said, I'm just really enjoying it. I can't really think right now because I'm sore and I'm tired and I'm not feeling great at all. Like, at all. I cannot. My back hurts so much, it's unreal. This is what happens when I increased some weights yesterday. And I'm just, it's so difficult. Like, I'm going to the gym to try and help with my EDS, but going to the gym causes me great pain. Like, I'm on all of my painkillers right now, and I'm still in pain, a lot of pain. Like, want to curl up and just be unconscious level of pain, but I need to push through and just keep going because, you know, the exercise is supposed to help me EDS, but I don't feel particularly better in general with the exercise, and I'm just hoping I need to keep going a bit longer and I'll see results. Did I say I also caught up with Percy Jackson? I'm up to, there's only one more episode that comes out next week of Percy Jackson left in the season, and honestly, I am so happy with how they've done the season, like the Percy Jackson TV show. It has been so good. I'm really excited because Blackjack is now in it, and I love Blackjack. I just have a Blackjack pin just sitting on the console table because I found it in my bag that Vicky gave me. I think it was Vicky. I was at Vicky's when I got it, and I'm pretty sure it was Vicky. But it's Blackjack. I love Blackjack. Blackjack is my favourite character. Like, I love Blackjack. And we finally got to meet Blackjack. I'm disappointed a little bit of how they did Blackjack, but I'm not going to say anything in case it's a spoiler. I mean, I suppose saying Blackjack is there is a spoiler, but it's not, because if you've read the books, you know about Blackjack, and if you've not read the books, you're just going to be sitting there going, who is Blackjack? So, I've seen so many comments with people saying, Jack Black should voice Blackjack. I mean, I don't think that would happen, because Rick is very pro-Palestine, and Jack Black is not. So, I don't see that happening. I'd be surprised if it does. My computer's just dying to death behind you. Right, I'm going to go finish my tea, read some more of my book, try and relax a bit more, and then have a nice early night so I can get some decent sleep, hopefully. You know, I started filming thinking the machine was finished. The machine is not finished. It is literally... Does anybody else find that the last minute on the washing machine is the longest minute of your life? It's still going. It's still going. Yeah, I just wanted to come on and say it is Friday. I am obviously finished for the weekend. I'm getting my washing done today, so I don't have to do it tomorrow, or more likely I don't have to bring it all down tomorrow and then do it on Sunday, because normally I do it on sprints. Or not on, like, well, sprints are on. But I don't think Becca's doing sprints on Sunday. But it still saves me from doing it. Like, I can have more time of the weekend to myself, because I'm going to need it. I'm still so sore. I'm due to go to the gym tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But I finished Just Our Luck by Denise Williams, and I am so excited to read the next one. It's like set up the next one as well. This was so good. This was so sweet, so cute. Like, it was really interesting to watch. Like, I clocked the ADHD rep in this so fast. So fast. It is, like, our female main character, Sybil, she is pure chaos. She is pure, utter chaos. She doesn't think things through before she does them. She's impulsive, but when she gets into something, she gets into something. Like, she will go down a rabbit hole. She will research the living crap out of it. And, yeah, she's so scatterbrained, and so, like, everything's just a bit off the cuff with her. Whereas Kieran, he is, like, very meticulous and very organised and very, like, needs everything to be exact. And the two personalities clashing is part of what makes this book so interesting, because he needs to learn to loosen up a little bit, and she needs to learn to, like, obviously, given that I'm, like, it's so clear she has ADHD, to me, she can't obviously learn to get more focused or anything like that, but, like, she can learn how to work with it if she can get to see a doctor, diagnose, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, this was so interesting. This was so fun, so nice. Like, there's a few more serious things in it. And, yeah, I really liked it. I liked watching the characters and their journey. You get both points of view, so it's nice to see what's going on in their heads. Did I think they were quite immature? Yes, but I think they must have been. So he was in second year medical school. So he must be 23, 24-ish. Because you finish school at 18, 4 years of school, like university, pre-med would be. So they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then 23, 24, and his second year But Veda birthday maybe 25. So 24, 25, I think she's about the same age. And they're very different places, in very, very different places. I really like this. I like the look as well at family. There's a lot about family and friends and found family in this. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was indie published because it's like, it's unbelievably floppy and like just beautifully. Look at that flop. But it's not. It's Penguin. It's it's Barclay, which is I think it is Penguin. Yeah, Penguin. Penguin, as I keep calling it, is an offshoot of Imprint, an imprint of Penguin Random House. There we go. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I am so looking forward to the next one when it comes out. She does have other books out, so that'll be interesting to have a look into. The next one follows characters, or a character that we meet in this, who is the unlikely follow-up. So I will enjoy reading that. I also don't know if I said, but the other night after the gym, I went into Asda and I decided to have a wee look at the books just to treat myself because I was not feeling great. And I picked up the Things We Leave Behind by Rebecca Yarros, and it has pink sprayed edges, which is just gorgeous. And I've not seen this cover before, so I think this cover and obviously the edges, and you'll know why I said obviously in a second, is because this is so this has been done for Tickled Pink. So Tickled Pink is Asda's breast cancer charity. So it says 45p from the sale of this book will be donated to Tickled Pink. So if you buy this book, this edition of this book in Asda, money is being donated to Tickled Pink. And there's a little section in here as well about how to check your boobs. Everybody should be checking their boobs. Tickled Pink, if you search it, will have advice and things like that on it. Or Copperfield are also another really good breast cancer charity. Yeah, and it's so important to check your boobs, which is partially why I ordered this, partially why I picked this up. This I saw someone talk about and just give it absolutely review. Like I've seen a couple of people raving about this, like Rebecca Yarros, although she wrote Fourth Wing, is probably what she's most famous for. She is predominantly a romance writer. She wrote several romance novels before she wrote Fourth Wing. And this one is a split timeline. So it goes between Georgia, who is in sort of the present day timeline, and then it goes back to her grandmother Scarlett during World War II, and we all know I love a World War II historical fiction. So this is a romance written by what I've only heard is a fantastic romance author, and also a story about a romance during the Second World War. So I am willing to give it a try, and yeah, given that it's also given money to charity, and a very good charity at that, and look at, it's beautiful. It's absolutely, this shade of red, like these reds, the gold, look at even the back, stunning. Favourite jewel tones, I'm here for it. So I'm excited to read that as well, but not right now. I do have a TBR to continue with. I'm not sure what I'm going to read next. I do have still have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies up on my Kindle. I have 2 books in there that are still on my unread TBR. So I've got The Starless Sea, which I think I might pick up next, and A Beautiful Evil by B. Fitzgerald, which are the only 2 physical books left on my TBR, other than my rereads, which are Dead to the World, which I've also pulled to read next, and The Magician King? Magician's Land, whichever the second one is. I've got that there as well to reread. So this, I think, is probably my favourite of the Charlene Harris, Spooky Stackhouse, True Blood, Southern Vampire Mysteries books. It was originally called the Southern Vampire Mysteries. Like, that is the name of the series. It is the Southern Vampire Mysteries. It is meant to be like a paranormal mystery series. And then a lot of people called it the Sookie Stackhouse series because Sookie Stackhouse is the main character. And then, of course, we have True Blood, which is the TV show based off of the books. Which is funny because True Blood plays a very small part in this. Like, synthetic blood is a thing with vampires, but True Blood is a brand. And it is not the most popular brand. So it just so happens that was obviously the catchy thing that they picked up on. But this one is my favourite because we get a character, and I know some people, I actually had watched someone talk about a book earlier, not this book, but a different book, and how they don't like the amnesia trope. And one of the big plot points in this is that there is someone who has amnesia, and our friends in the book have to figure out, 1, how they got amnesia, 2, how to get their memories back, and 3, what the heck is going on outside of that. And I just love that. I think this is partly where my love for like wounded characters came from. So like, for example, I really wanted to read Hat Trick by Chelsea Curtle because Riley, the main character, loses a leg. He ends up as an above the knee amputee, or is he above the knee or below? I think he's an above the knee amputee, if I remember correctly. And he has to go from being like at the top of his game in the NHL, like hockey player, to learning how to walk again, how to balance, how to do things that, you learn as a baby. You need to rewire your brain, you need to unlearn what you already learned and relearn all again. But when you're a baby, you don't, like, this is not a derogatory thing, but you learn it as a baby. What I mean is, like, your brain gets wired while you're a baby and you don't remember how frustrating it was to fall and to fail and to get up and try again. But as an adult, you're fully aware of every single moment of the healing journey. And as somebody who's had to do physio, who's had to recover from, dislocated shoulder, dislocated knees, dislocated hips, like, things like that, it's so frustrating to, it is so frustrating to be in a position where your body fails you, and especially when you can no longer do something that you could do without thinking, and you need to relearn the process of how to do it. Obviously, I've never had to go through anything like losing a limb, and having to relearn how to do things like that. Yes, I did have, I had to do similar-ish things when I dislocated my shoulder. Luckily, it was my left shoulder and not my right shoulder because I'm right-handed. And I literally had to have my arm was like up in a sling for a while, and then like with my knee dislocated, I had it in that like a steel barred brace, so I literally couldn't bend my knee at all. Like it couldn't bend, and I had to learn how to walk and get up. Bless you, Hamish. Walk and get up and move around with not full movement of my knee, and then again, like, I had to learn how to do things with one hand because I couldn't utilise my other arm. I did, however, obviously heal that up, so it's nothing like missing a limb. But where was I going with this? There's something about that process of going back to basics, going back to the start, breaking down all your like focus and all your like internal structure and building yourself back up again, that I just love about, excuse Hamish, about these characters. So like, especially when it's particularly when it's overly confident characters. So the character in this, like, that gets the amnesia is very overconfident and very they're someone who everybody else relies on, somebody who always has the answer, somebody who would never let anybody see them as weak. I'm trying not to spoil it if anybody's not read it or seen the TV show. It is only like, I think it's like the 3rd or 4th book or something like that. I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th book. So like, but it's that kind of character where they've never been weak, or they've never allowed themselves to be weak, and then suddenly they've got this perceived weakness, where they are no longer on their A game, and they have to work to get back there, because their friends won't let them wallow and spiral into all the self-hatred and everything. I just really, really like Amen. He's rubbing his face on he's quite right. He's not had his biscuits, I don't think. I'll need to ask Kay if she gave them to him before she went upstairs. But there's something I love about watching a character who is so full of confidence and so full of just that strong character be brought to a point of needing to relinquish that I can't think of the right word, but they have to step back and they have to allow people to help them and admit that they need help and like look at themselves in a different way and really, really like sit with themselves. And I'm describing this really, really poorly, but hopefully you understand what I mean. These videos are mostly watched by my friends anyway, so, but if you come across this and you don't know what I'm talking about, please feel free to ask some questions, but you know what I'm trying to say. There's just something about, I love books with character work in them. Like, character introspection is one of my favourite things. So like the Becky Chambers ones where nothing happens but you're with the characters and you have to like, they have to solve problems and they have to think about things. I love those sorts of things, and I feel like I love those sorts of books and plots, and I feel like that's what you get zeroed in on when it's one character who has to kind of rebuild their life, rebuild their self, rebuild their self-worth, self-confidence. And I think it's really interesting to read characters like that because it makes them a lot more fleshed out. Anyway, now that I'm done over explaining that and the washing machine is done, I'm going to go swap the washing over, give Mr. Man his biscuits, and probably not start a new book. I probably won't start a new book. I might watch a comfort show because the world is a shit show at the moment, and I don't think I want to read something. I think I want to just watch something. And by watch, I mean like I'm going to watch Hell's Bells on TikTok. Not, is it on TikTok? Yeah. I've been watching it on TikTok. I've got it saved for like the next video I need to watch. I'm going to go watch Hell's Bells. And just... Hello, good afternoon. It is Saturday and I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Hence why I have my hair up in one of Tori's scrunchies. And my fringe was looking a little, I know it's ridiculous because I'm going to the gym, but my fringe was looking a little, so I just give my fringe a wash at the sink. So yeah, I'm going to go, it needs trimmed. It really needs trimmed. I'm going to go to the gym. I was not feeling motivated to do it today, but then I saw a couple of people post that they were at the gym and I was like, Andy, you can do this. So now I'm going to the gym, not feeling like 100%, but I can do this. I can totally do this. And if you need a sign that you can do something, doesn't need to be the gym, you can do it. Also, take your meds. I know you've forgotten. I'm just waiting on the washing machine finishing. I put it on a Eco Drum Clean, just to give it a clean. And I need to wait for that to finish, and then I will head out to the gym. I need to go get diesel. I was going to say petrol, but my car's diesel. I need to go get diesel, and then I'll go to the gym. And again, I probably won't vlog while I'm at the gym because there's other people there, and it's just awkward. Like, I don't want to get other people in my vlogs that are not like consenting to it. So, not that like very many people see this, but just like it just seems like a normal thing to do. To not like, if I'm on the street and I'm walking in the street and vlogging, that's different than like filming someone while they're doing the workout. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for this to finish watching this video while that happens, and then I'm going to go to the gym. Yes, I am. Can you tell I'm trying to talk myself into it? I'm already dressed. I've got my leggings on, got my shirt on, I've got my sports bra on, got my shoes on, I'm ready to go. Hello, it is later on Saturday. It is now like almost 10 o'clock. I did try and do this vlog clip like 2 hours ago, but such is life. Well, like an hour and a half ago. But things kept getting in the way, and then our food arrived, and I was very hungry. But I went to the gym. I've showered, as you can see. I finished. My book is upstairs, isn't it? I finished Just Our Luck yesterday, so I think I spoke about that. I'm now going to start A Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I also have Dead to the World, which I also spoke about yesterday, but I wanted to show you before I put it in the book bestie. Look at this, like, gorgeous. This is really satisfying as well because it's like really flat, and then it's got the edge on it. Vicky unhauled this. I don't even know if Vicky read this, but I genuinely don't think I'm going to like this. I think this is going to be a DNF. So we shall see. I'm still going to read it. I'm still going to give it a chance because there's every chance that I will end up absolutely loving this. Okay, there we go. I've got my Heartstopper book bestie downstairs because I do not want any of the gilding to come off, or the foiling to come off with my grubby mitts. I am so affected, not like, I don't want to say traumatized because that's not the right word, but like I just scratched myself in the face. When I read Chain of Thorns for the first time, I've not reread it, so when I read Chain of Thorns, it's a hardback with no dust jacket, so it's just foiled right onto the cover, and my hand, like obviously the oils and stuff on my hands while I was reading it rubbed off the title. So I've the foil title on mine is basically all rubbed off because I was just reading the book. And that had never happened to me before. I've read plenty of hardback books that have gilding on them or foiling, and it never happened. And then it just rubbed off. I do think it was purely prepared, I'm not going to lie, because it wasn't like, it's like just onto a flat shiny surface. It's not like indented or anything like that. But yeah, so to stop that, I now only read hardbacks with foiling in a book bestie, just to keep them protected. And especially if it's somebody else's book, like Atmosphere, that did not have foiling on the front or back, it only had it on the spine, but because it's Bobby's book, I was protecting it. Because if someone loans you a book, you give it back to them in good shape, okay? In the shape it was given to you in. That's how that happens. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go and start this. And see whether or not I enjoy it. Okay, look. I understand at the start of a book, there's a lot of setup that needs to be done, right? I get that. But so far, I am like 3... Why did I say it like that? 3 chapters in. I'm about to start the 4th. And by chapters, I mean like, there's like 3 pages and then it changes to a new thing. And each one of them is really just describing a thing and where it is. Like, the first line of the book is, there's a pirate in the basement. Okay. And I've just gotten to chapter 4, there's no chapter headings, but like, it's obviously sectioned. It says, there's a book on a shelf in a university library. Okay? Like, I know there's a word for it and I've forgotten what the word it is, but like that sort of setup and stages of it. But is every chapter going to be like, there's a penguin in the freezer in someone's house? Like, what is this? Is this just like I say on chapter 4, it literally starts on page 15. The chapter 4 starts on page, I'm 15 pages in, and I'm like, okay. Like, first we had like, there's a pirate in the basement, and it was very like, what in Jack Sparrow is going on, and then it was, what in the Silent Brothers is chapter 2, and then what in the Book of Doors. Honestly, I think if you like this book, you would probably like the Book of Doors. It's given the same general vibe, except in the Book of Doors, people speak to each other, and it's not just describing what people are doing. Like, I know that sounded absolutely bananas. There's a difference to me. I'm going to put my wee bookmark in the book. There is a difference to me with telling a story and telling me what people are doing. And that is where I draw the line in, like, not enjoying reading. I think that was my problem with The Night Circus. To me, a lot of it wasn't telling a story, it was telling me what people are doing. And there's other books that I've read where, like, there was one I DNF'd, the Sarah Rash one? Is it Sarah Rash? The Night of the Witch, is it called? I don't remember. I know it was green. It's the one I sent to Becca. And to me, there was a lot... No, that's not the one it was either. That's a lie. That's not why I DNF'd that book. That's not why I DNF'd that book. Oh, what was the book? It was the Rumpelstiltskin, Gilded by Marissa Mayer. That's what it was. So I was reading Gilded by Marissa Mayer, and it was like, so-and-so, let's call her Sasha. I don't actually remember her name. Sasha wakes up. She is lying in her bed with the covers on. The bed is warm. The outside is still cold. But she knows she has to get up because she has chores to do. Sasha pulls back the covers of her bed and slips her feet into slippers and grabs a blanket to put round her. And Sasha gets up and walks through her bedroom to the stairs and walks downstairs and into the kitchen. Sasha sees that her dad is already up and has put a pot to boil on the fire, and she goes over and stokes the flames and looks to see what is in the pot. Like, I don't care. I don't need that level of detail. I don't need to know what somebody's doing at every single moment. Like, there was another book that I DNF'd as well that was like that, where I was like, literally at one point we were describing someone walking down a hallway, like every friggin' step down this hallway, and it wasn't that the hallway was like unusual or strange or there was anything worth noting. It was a blank hallway. I don't care. There's a door on the left, there's a door on the right, these are not the doors we need. We need the door down there, and we're walking to the door. And as we're walking to the door, we take a step. And then we take another. Literally, it was like that. It was so annoying. I don't like books like that. I really, really, really don't like books where you're just telling someone what someone should do. Like, for me, that's one of those things where it's like you're using more words and more pages than you need. That's why a lot of classics are written the way they are. Classics were literally paid, like, not classic, but like Dickens and stuff. They were paid by the word or paid by the page or like a certain count. So they extend, like, you're on deadline, you've got a word count to hit, and you're nowhere near there. You go through that bitch and you find every word you can separate into 2 words. You find anything you can change a word into like 6 words. Like, that is what was happening, and that is what I cannot stand about some novels. Now, it's not to say it's a bad way to write, it's just a way to write that I don't like. And like, literally, I'm pretty sure there's one point in The Night Circus where someone's sitting in front of a vanity, just looking in the mirror. But we don't get to know what they're thinking as they're looking in the mirror. Like, if they were looking at themselves or looking at the things around them and thinking about something, that would have been more interesting. But it's literally just like, they're sitting in a room and they're looking in the mirror. I'm like, okay, but why? What's the point? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I'm too tired for this. But like, literally, like, what? There's a book on a shelf in a university library. Okay? It does say this is not unusual, but it is not where this particular book should be. Okay. Why is the book important? Tell me. I know this is some kind of like probably some kind of whimsical writing style that's meant to get you intrigued. It's like it's trying to do what the opening of the Lord of the Rings does. I can never remember if it's the first line in the Lord of the Rings or the first bit in the Lord of the Rings or the first bit in the Hobbit. But I really, really like the line. I really like I think it holds a lot of like nostalgia or something for me. I think that's why. But the first line is, "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." That is, to me, that's a great way to start a story. And yet she's just done it 4 times and I'm like, why? But then that follows on with, not a dirty, it's like a dirty something hole. This was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It immediately opens you up to this warm feeling, like the way it's written. The way that opening is written. I'm really going to have to look up whether it's Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Because it's just, so like every time I hear the words, "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit," it just brings me a warm, cosy feeling. Whereas like, I have no, and I think it might, again, it's that nostalgic feeling. Like, I have a lot of connection with The The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like, I love the book The Hobbit. I'm the backwards person. I love The Hobbit. I wasn't so keen on Lord of the Rings, but I love the Lord of the Rings movies. Hate the Hobbit movies. Like, the whole thing, I say this every time I mention it, the whole third film, The Battle of the Five Armies, is completely made up because Bilbo, spoiler alert, Bilbo was unconscious for all of it. Bilbo is the author of The Hobbit, and he was not aware of what was happening until afterwards. So, like, the whole movie is not from the source material, which is fine. It's not a problem. It is not a problem. I just feel like they don't highlight the sections from the book that are there. I could go on a whole thing about it, but there's just something about, like, you know what you're walking into when it says, when you hear that first line of a book that you have a connection to. Like, I'm pretty sure the first line of The Martian is, I'm fucked. And instantly I'm just laughing because I'm like, yep, Mark, you are. But again, I've got that connection. It might just be because I don't have a connection to this book so far. But it has, like I say, so far. The first chapter, as I'm calling it, is about a pirate who's locked in a dungeon. And that makes me think of Pirates of the Caribbean. The dungeons that Jack is locked in below Port, wherever it is they start. I've not seen those movies in ages. You know, with the dog with the keys, like, in there. That's what it makes me think of. It's just the pirate sitting there, but he's calm, he's collected, he's not, like, chaotic like Jack. And then the second one is very, like, Silent Brothers. If you know Cassie Clare and you've read this book, you will understand what I mean. With the connections, it's very much like if someone was being initiated as a Silent Brother, how I'd imagine the start of that would be. Except not because they're not the same thing, but it makes me think of it like that feeling of being in this old place, this stone place that's silent, and like it makes sense when you read it. And then the third one is about a little boy. The boy is the son of the fortune teller. Okay? Like, it reads like info you need for a background of, like, a script, which I don't necessarily find appealing. And he walks down the alley to the shop on his way home and he sees a door that's been painted on the wall. And it looks very realistic. And then the next day, the door's gone. And then there's a book on the shelf in the university library. I'm gonna have to. I don't even think Vicky has read this, but I'm gonna have to, like, voice note Vicky because I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna continue to read it, but I think I might go to bed. I might read the book chapter. This is January 2015. I don't even know when this book was written. I think this book is quite old in book terms. 2019, so not as old as I thought it was going to be. Anyway, I'm going to go because I don't want to keep you for too long. Hello, it's Sunday. Yes, I have in fact moved. I did go to bed, come back, and it's now daytime. Not that you can tell. Most of this light is the light from inside. Like, the light on. Hamish is looking at me like I'm crazy. Sorry. Yeah, most of this light is the light from inside because it is dull outside. I've had my breakfast, I've had my tea, I am just sitting watching some YouTube. I'm gonna finish watching my watch later. Oh my god, there's a hair and it's really quite annoying. I'm gonna finish watching my watch later videos, and then I've got my book, I've got my Red Bull, and yeah, it's a big boy today because I need one. And yeah, I'm gonna plug along with this. I started the chapter. I read like 2 pages of the chapter. I thought I read more than that. I read like 2 pages of the chapter. The next one. No, that's the lie. I read the next chapter. So I read the chapter that I was that I'd stopped on yesterday, and then I read the next chapter, and then I started the next chapter. I'm still only 28 pages in. These chapters are all like really, really short. Although this one is a bit longer. It's like 10 pages. So I was too tired to continue, so I went to bed and thought I would read it in the morning. But so far, I am intrigued. I am intrigued. I'm hoping this is better than The Night Circus. It has been recommended to me as something I might like based on other things I've read, so I'm hoping that is the case. But we shall see. Like I say, got my Red Bull, got my book, had my meds, need to fix my meds. I need to refill my meds today. Remind me to do that. And yeah, just realising now as Hamish is staring at me, there's almost time to give me his lunch, but not quite. I really want to get a good chunk of reading done today because I just feel like I haven't been reading. Like, I've been wanting to read, but I've been too tired or I've had other things to do. I've not had a chance to actually just sit down and read. So I would like to do that today, but we shall see. Okay, I think I've made the tough decision at 48 pages in that I'm going to DNF the Starless Sea. Now, this is not a reflection on the book. Well, it is a reflection on the book. Everything you do with the book is a reflection on the book. But what I mean by that is, so I've had to think about it. I tried to read. I was reading it. I was having to think about it. I read some reviews on it. 5-star reviews, just general mix up of reviews, and I'm going to DNF it because this book is not for me. This book is for people who, as far as I could tell from the reviews, people who studied English at university, people who love stories about stories, people who love books about books, people who love the meandering behind the scenes of novels. And that is not me, and that is okay. I am not, like, people are talking about, 5-star reviews are talking about how they couldn't put the book down, how they were chasing sentence after sentence. That is a quote. I was chasing sentence after sentence. And I love that for you. That is amazing. Like, that is the way you want to consume a book. Get into it and be like, you can't put it down. You want to keep reading it. And that is amazing. But for me, it's a slog. I feel like I'm falling asleep while reading it. And I think it's because I am more of a scientifically minded person, and this is not a criticism of anybody, I'm just trying to explain my thinking. So my analytical side of my brain is very much, I want to pick it apart and understand it side of my brain, which is why if you look back at a lot of the books I DNF'd or not necessarily didn't like, or like the styles that I'm not here for or are not for me, are a lot of ones where it's like you just have to be like, just trust, just go with it. And I'm like, Some of them, I will say trust the process on some of them, but it's because it gets to a point. Whereas, like, for me, Erin Morgenstern's writing never gets to a point. I read The Night Circus. I really need to unhaul The Night Circus. It's upstairs, which is really inaccessible to me. And the cubby that it's shoved in. The writing meanders. And I find myself asking why we're not getting to the point. It's like, can we get to the point? I don't need to know about all these different things. This is part of the reason don't come for me. This is part of the reason I don't like the Lord of the Rings books. Because Tolkien has this way of describing everything. And I mean everything. And that is one of the things that people who love those books love about it. And it is something I do appreciate about Tolkien as well. I love The Hobbit. I love The Hobbit. His description of the leaves in the forest, I think it's in Mirkwood, is unbelievably stunning. Like, that has stuck with me for years since I read that. Is what I think about when I think about his writing, is the way he describes the leaves on the trees and the way that they, like, appear in the sun and the movement. It is vivid and stunning and beautiful and absolutely a fantastic point of his writing. I am not going to deny that. But there are certain points where it's like, right, can we just move along a wee bit? And that's how I feel about Erin Morgenstern's writing. I think it is not a style that vibes well with my brain. For the people who love this book, they love this book. And for the people who don't love this book, they all seem to have the same feelings as me. It's, what? what is happening? What is going on? Why are we doing it this way? And that's fine. So I think I'm going to DNF this book. And that's really unfortunate. I really wanted to like this book. Really wanted to like, especially since it's so beautiful. Like, can we just... Although it bothers me that there's a bit that describes this, and it says there's a sword, and above the sword is a key, and above the key is a bee. They're in the wrong order. But that's, that's by the by. So yes, I think I will be DNFing the Starless Sea for 8 pages in. That's like 10% of the book. 10% of the book in, and I just feel like I would be pushing on for pushing on's sake. And I don't think that's a good reason to read a book. Like, that's what I did with The Night Circus, and I was really disappointed. This book, though, is absolutely stunning. Like, how beautiful is that? I do think if you liked The Night Circus, you will love this. If you want something like this, but less flowery, I would advise reading The Book of Doors, because it does remind me a lot of The Book of Doors in its themes. Or even the other book by him, I can't remember what it's called though, at this point in time. But yeah, it's just not for me. Anyway, it's very hard to describe your thoughts on this book. Like I say, if even the reviews by people who absolutely loved it were unintelligible to me. And I'm not having a good time. I'm not enjoying it. I'm confused. I am like dozing off as I'm reading it. I did that I literally had to listen to the audiobooks of Lord of the Rings, because as I was like reading, I was doing this. And it's not a glowing review for the book, is it? So I think if you're somebody who likes this or likes The Night Circus, you will love it. Like, if you love The Night Circus, you will love this. And I totally see why. It's just not for me. Guess who forgot they were meant to put pulled pork on to cook in the slow cooker today? Me. So it's now like 4 o'clock, and luckily the recipe has like a faster version. So like the low cook is 8 hours, and the faster one is like high on 5 hours. So we're going to go with that. So this is what it looks like right now. Hopefully that all marinates down into something resembling pulled pork. I don't know. I just came to make myself a cup of tea and then realised that I'd forgotten to put on the pulled pork. I'm very annoyed at myself, but it's fine because Kay doesn't work tomorrow, so she'll be able to stay up a bit later if we need to cool it. I'm so annoyed at myself. So annoyed at myself. Okay, since I have decided, oh my god. Since I've decided to DNF the Starless Sea, do you remember what it's called there? I've now decided to start A Beautiful Label by B. Fitzgerald. I have this weird, stupid relationship in my head with B. Fitzgerald. Not with her as a person, with her as an author, like her books. I'm always like, I'm not sure, I don't think I'm going to like it. And then I start reading it, and within 1 page, I'm like, amazing. Perfect. No notes. And I just wanted to share this quote from this book. Page 4 of the book. So, this book is a Pandora retelling. And so, Pandora, if you don't know in Greek mythology, is the first woman ever made. So, like, the Bible equivalent of, or the Greek equivalent of the Bible's Eve, or Lilith, technically. But like Eve, because she's meant to be like, she's meant to be submissive and all that jazz. Anyway, so the pages all start, like the book starts with her creation and Hephaestus moulding her from clay. So this is the point I'm going to make. So she's been moulded from clay, and then she will be made into a real woman. Okay, that's how humans were made in the Greek mythos, out of clay. So there is a part that just really, I just really love this quote. And this is the thing, B. Fitzgerald writes so beautifully. But this quote just, it says, "When my body was art, it was a thing to be admired. But to become flesh, it was layered in rules of decency and modesty. It was a thing to shield." Like, how... Yes. So this is talking about, so obviously as Hephaestus is building her from clay, she is naked because he has to build all the like tendons and the he has to maker, as you can imagine making a person out of clay would be. And then when she's finished, they put clothes on her before she's made human. But I just love that. I just love that. That quote. When my body was art, it was a thing to be admired. But to become flesh, it's layered in rules of decency and modesty. It was a thing to shield. Perfection. That is just like, it's so true. If you go into, like if you look at art and things like that, like you've got statues, you've got museums and things, or art galleries and stuff like that, you've got paintings and statues and all these things, figures of women and men, especially women though, that are basically naked or almost naked or like really, really uncovered. And that's fine because they're statues, because they're art, because, you know, down to the fact that a lot of if you see the naked male statues, that have the leaves, the fig leaves on their little bits, those were added afterwards by the church because they wanted it to be more modest. But, so art is allowed to be immodest, art is allowed to be naked, but humans must cover themselves, which, fair enough, like I don't want to see everybody strutting in the street naked, like also that would be cold, but like the way we treat bodies that are perfectly natural, like they're taboo and wrong somehow, especially with this. Pandora is a plus size character. There's a beautiful photo of her in the beginning of the book, and as they're describing her, they are describing as making her plus size. Especially plus size people are often told to cover up, whereas like skinny people are not. And yeah, I can already tell I'm going to love this book. I'm so glad I picked this up. Hello, it is Sunday evening. I'm getting ready to go to bed because I am so tired. So tired. I've been fighting for my life trying to stay awake. Just a little bit longer for like the washing machine and the... Oh, I need to go turn the washing machine on. And the pulled pork. And yeah, so it's time for me to go to bed because I'm very tired. Even though I slept like so much last night, I'm still very tired. I have made it to chapter 12 of A Beautiful Evil. And that is 100 pages in. I'm 100 pages in. This has gone so quickly. So that's the afterword. So it is 426 pages. 426 pages. And I'm on page 101. So that's 300 and... No, I can't do the math. Whatever that math says, that's how many pages I have left. This is beautiful. This book is beautiful. Like, this is the end paper on both sides. But in the front, there is a spread of Pandora. And then I've just discovered in the back, there is a double spread of Epimetheus. She calls him Mattheos, but I'm sure his name is Epimetheus. He's the brother of Prometheus. Yeah, she calls him Epimetheus. I'm not sure if there's a different pronunciation in Greek, but that's how I'm saying it in my head, Epimetheus. But she calls him Mattheos because Epimetheus means afterthought. It's like, it doesn't translate directly to afterthought, but the meaning behind it is afterthought. Like, something you think about, oh yeah, like as an afterthought. That's what it means when you use it as a name. If you use Epimetheus in a conversational context, when it's not a name, it means something else, like the last thought or the second thought. I can't remember what she says it means, but as a name, it means an afterthought. So it shows like a lack of worthiness. Whereas Prometheus means like first thought. So it's like he's the exalted brother and Mattheos is the lower brother, as it was. Yeah, which is really interesting. I'm really loving this. This has got so many existential questions about humanity and what it means to be human, what it means to be a woman, because she has been made as the first human woman. Pandora is the first human woman, and I was really confused. Greek mythology is confusing because I was like, what do you mean she's the first human? Like, I thought there was no humans on Earth at this point, but there are. They're just all men. Humanity was first created by Prometheus as all men, and then Zeus created Pandora, who was the first woman, and then more women, but I don't know how more women. But also, one of the gods she meets, because this is after the gods have defeated Kronos, and one of the gods she meets is Dionysus, or Dionysus, is probably closer to the Greek. And as far as I'm aware, he was a demigod, and his mother was a human. And I'm like, how could he be if you look up the origins of some of the gods, it's madness. Dionysus and Aphrodite probably have the two most controversial, or not controversial, but two most, like if you look at how Aphrodite came to be, there are at least 3, I think, versions. And same with Dionysus, or Dionysus, there are multiple, like, because in this he already exists, but as far as I'm aware, he was a demigod son of Zeus, who was given, who was deified, for something. But I might also be mixing him up with Heracles, because Heracles was also a human demigod son of Zeus who was deified for his actions. So I'll need to go look at that, but I'm pretty sure Dionysus has different origin stories depending on where the myth comes from. He is one of my favourite gods. Him and Hades are 2 of my favourite gods, male gods, in the sense of, like, in actual myth, they were decent comparatively. If you've read Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, which is my favourite Jennifer Saint, it tells the tale of Ariadne and how she helped Theseus defeat the Minotaur, who was her brother, and then she sails off with Theseus, and Theseus then leaves her on an island. And this is, like, all Greek mythology. It's not a spoiler for the book. It is a spoiler for the book, but it's, like, thousands of years old Greek mythology is the basic story I'm giving you. He leaves her on an island, tells her he'll come back for her, never does. But who does come across the island is Dionysus, and he falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him, and Ariadne becomes his godly wife. Like, he deifies her, like, after all things happen, Ariadne becomes his godly wife. And as far as I understand it, he's always been kind to Ariadne. Like, they actually genuinely love each other, and they are not married out of convenience or need. They actually do care for each other. So, like, Zeus and Hera are married because they just have to be. Aphrodite is married to Hephaestus because Zeus didn't want the gods to fight over Aphrodite, and so he wedded her to Hephaestus. But she has a, like, consistent affair with Ares. It's just a whole thing. The Greek gods are messy. That's what I like about Greek gods. That's what I love about the Greek gods, is that they are messy. They are so imperfect and human in a way that's, like, I wouldn't call them imperfect. I feel like it's struck down for calling them imperfect. But, like, it's not imperfect. That's not the right word. But they are closer to human. So it's like, if you think about, like, Abrahamic God, he is perfection. He is perfect. He cannot make a mistake. He cannot do anything that's not perfect. Whereas the Greek gods like to think that they are perfect, but, like, Zeus can't keep it in his pants, for a start. There's all these things with the Greek gods. That's the reason we have the stories, because of all the things the Greek gods do, and it humanises them, or makes them more like aspects of humans, like extreme aspects of humans, and that's part of what I really like about them. I don't know where this conversation started, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to shut the vlog off here. If you want to let me know you were here, leave some kind of, like, vase emoji for a beautiful evil for Pandora, so that she can cause chaos. Here's the because it was not a jar. It was not a box that Pandora opened. It was a jar. I want to say Pithos, but I think that's the wrong thing. It was a jar, like a jar container like that, that held all the world's. I don't know what to call them. I can't remember what they're called. Like all the bad things in the world that humans hadn't discovered yet. Sins is a way of describing it, but that's not what they would describe it as in. All the evils of the world were held in this jar, and Pandora opened it and let out all the evils, and the only thing left in the jar was hope. I love the story. Anyway, yes, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Pandora is fat, and she is like, I am gorgeous, and I love it. She has no doubt that she is perfect, and she is fat. Like, she has said herself, she is fat. But she also says herself, she is perfect. She's been made perfect by the gods. Who is she to doubt that she's perfect? Who is anybody to doubt that she's perfect when she's been made perfect by the gods? I love this. And then Matthias is deaf. He wears hearing aids, which you might think, Andy, hearing aids in a Greek god story. They are made by Hephaestus. So, yeah. There's also like automatons. And that, like, robots were created by Greeks. Like, they maybe didn't have automatons, or robots as we would call them, but Hephaestus, the god, created automatons. Like, so, he has an automaton dog, a lion, a cat, a wolf, and some birds. The birds are like Snow White level birds, where they, like, do all the cooking and cleaning and stuff, but badly. The dog is supposed to be a guard dog, but he really, like, scratches behind his ears. And then the wolf goes around the perimeter to keep it safe. The lion, again, is meant to be like a guard lion, but he's not very good at his job, but he just likes to play. And the cat, as far as you can understand it, just acts like a cat. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. There's something so special about B. Fitzgerald's writing. I have been flying through this book. This is exactly like the opposite of what was happening with the Starless Sea. I was reading the Starless Sea and I was like having to go back and reread it, and I was getting confused, and I was like, I'm not following this, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't want to read it. And it was a slog. Whereas this, I'm just flying through. I absolutely love it. Her books do lean into more YA than they do adult. But I love them. Like, I still think about the first book that I read of hers, which is Girl, Goddess, Queen. And that is the story of Hades and Persephone, and it's a different look at the story of Hades and Persephone. It wasn't a case of Persephone being stolen by Hades. It's like, what if instead she jumped into hell? Oh, love that book. So good. I think that's probably the second one she did, which is The End Crowns All, is a Helen of Troy, Trojan horse, Troy battle retelling, but it is sapphic with Helen and Clytemnestra. Is it Clytemnestra? I can't remember who the main character is, but it is sapphic. I'm so excited to finish this, but I need to go to bed. Because I cannot keep my eyeballs open. So I'm going to shut up now. But yes, if you leave me some kind of jar, vase-ish emoji for Pandora, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!